I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales, and not only has it been quite the year this past week, fall allergies are already starting to creep their way into my sinuses. But I have coffee to break through both the stupidity of the world at large and the brain fog spawned by vindictive trees. These are some random TTRPG thoughts. Let's roll it. Mornings. Before we begin, thanks to everyone who's done the whole like, share, comment, and subscribe routine for any of the videos on this channel. And if you'd consider doing that for this video, it would be a huge help. Thank you so much. And now, to the randomness. I had an absolute blast running Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program this past weekend. It's every bit as gonzo as I hoped it would be, and playing all of the crazy NPCs from Monty Python is so much fun. I'll be on the A Squirrel Plays YouTube channel this coming Saturday to play a game of nuts. Speaking of which, I need to still make my character for the adventure. At any rate, the fun begins at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm about halfway through writing my review of Dreams and Machines, and it's reinforcing my thought that its world building is amazing. I'm still working my way through the first volume of the second edition of Playing at the World. I am blown away by two things, though. First, the sheer number of chance encounters and fortunate happenstances that were necessary to see role-playing games become the widespread phenomenon that they are is amazing. Second, when I first opened up the Moldvay Basic set back in the day, I had no idea how new the hobby actually was. To me, it was just something that must have always existed because it was such a cool idea that made perfect sense. So let's see. This week we've got the National Guard picking up trash in DC, which is a great use of the money it costs to deploy them. Some of them are now armed because Orange Man thinks fear is the only way to rule. Orange's appointed head of the CDC, Susan Meneras, has now been fired because, and this must have come as a shock to Orange Man, she thinks the best way to run the CDC is via scientific evidence. In the wake of her firing, 3 prominent officials have resigned in protest, and Brainworm Guy is limiting access to updated COVID vaccines this year because somehow that's common sense in his bizarro reality. Orange Man also keeps insisting that he's not a dictator, but maybe people want a little bit of a dictator. He's threatening to activate National Guard in other cities, all of which have black mayors and a lower per capita crime rate than a lot of the major cities in so-called red states, which is nonsense description anyway, because there is no such thing. You know, I wonder why Orange Man is targeting those particular cities with the black mayors. I'm committing myself to writing an adventure for the Electric State RPG during the month of September, and with any luck, I'll get it written and be able to run a session or 2 of it before my sabbatical ends. I really hope I can do that. Last night I was bored, so my friend Dave and I rambled on and on and on and on during an impromptu live stream, which was a lot of fun. During our chat, I brought up my 3 Howlmark adventures for EZD6 and how I'd like to get them published at some point, and this gave me the idea to live stream the trilogy on my channel. So with any luck, perhaps we'll all get to take a trip to the lovely town of Hobgoblin Falls. In other news, someone decided to shoot up a Catholic school church during its first day mass and killed 2 little kids and injured many more people. The shooter had put in for a legal name change several years back, which I'm sure is going to do wonders for the mental state of conservative TV pundits looking to give people their daily dose of irrational fear. Look at what the trans person did. You all aren't safe. Ooh. All right, folks, look, here's the deal. Can we, and I'm just spitballing here, not shoot people? Or, as a father of a school-aged child who is married to a teacher and has another child who is a teacher, can we not shoot children? And maybe can a feckless Congress get their heads out of their rear ends long enough to come up with a solution to help reduce gun violence which doesn't involve turning life into an armored fortress? That would be a really good idea. And please do not give me, well, a good guy with a gun nonsense, because it's utter crap. Because now shooters aren't even going into the places they're shooting up. See, I'd like my child to grow up in a world where things like windows in public places weren't a reason to be scared for his life. I don't think that's a huge ask. So, and folks, if you are experiencing a desire to deal with your trauma by inflicting violence on the world, I have a whole shelf of games where you can do that where no one actually gets killed, including you. And maybe they can help you arrive at the realization that you need to deal with whatever's going on. This all seems like a better path forward to me than the one that we're currently on, for some reason. All right, show of comments. How many of you were shocked that I managed to make that last point into a TTRPG random thought? I was kind of surprised myself. So I am planning on taking my latest comic book adventure, which I run in both Cypher System and Streamlined Superheroes, and then developing a version of it for Sentinel Comics RPG. If I publish them, would you like to see all 3 versions bundled together as one product or as 3 separate releases? I want to shout out all of the wonderful coffee contributors who support this channel out of the kindness of their own hearts. If you liked this video and you want to contribute to some caffeination, the link, well, that is right over there. And if you're looking for some fun t-shirts or hoodies to wear, check out my merch store, which has fun designs like this one with the DM Tales logo on it and the channel motto on the front, like this. Next week, on Tuesday, September 2nd, I'll be chatting with Peter Lang, creator of the fine TTRPG system Tales from Elsewhere, about his current crowdfunding campaign for this system. Peter is a great designer and a lot of fun to talk to, so the chat should be amazing. And as I stated in my random thoughts, I'm still writing my Dreams and Machines review and expect that review to be on the channel sometime in the near future. Monty Cook Games is also in the midst of a backer kick campaign for the next evolution of the Cypher system, and I am working on a video going over some of the changes that they've revealed that are coming to the system. That should be a lot of fun. So, until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.